This is going to be a walk around this American 14.6 I installed a rotating boom, which you will see later when I raise the sail. And notice the name, Woolly Bully, because I met Sam the Sham, who wrote Woolly Bully in 1965. He had a 20-foot sailboat, and the name of his boat was Woolly Bully. When I asked him, how come you named your boat Woolly Bully? He says, because I wrote that song. And so now, in recognition of Sam the Sham, my new American 14.6 is Woolly Bully, keeping in mind that I name all my boats after songs. Well, it's time to raise the mast. I'm going to walk around the front and show you the modification on the trailer winch that had to be done. Okay, here's the trailer winch, and up above is a roller that I had to add for the trailer winch strap to go from here up to the roller, around, and you will see later how it attaches to the mast. Also notice that I had to cut off some of the bottom of the mast so it can rotate on this pivot here and not bind. After the mast is positioned to the rear of the boat, it has an alignment here that can be fitted, as you see. When the mast comes forward, that pin will slide into the binnacle and down to the base there and ready to raise. We're going to use the halyard connected to the winch strap to raise the mast, but you have to be sure that this end of the halyard is securely attached, because when the winch strap pulls this in, that must be anchored in order to put the strain on the mast. If that's not secured, the mast will fall down. Because the mast can sway left and right on its way up, I have attached bungee cords to the jib sheet cam cleats here. Here's the bungee cord. The bungee cord is attached to the center of the mast on that horn cleat, and the same on the other side. Here is the mast part way up. You can see the bungee cords are holding the mast pretty much center. Now the mast is halfway up and pretty much centered left and right. You can see the binnacle is supporting the base of the mast with these pins in a correct position, and we're ready to go up the rest of the way. All I have to do is crank this handle. Okay, now the mast is up all the way. Looks nice and straight. The shrouds are tight. The only thing holding this mast up right now is the shrouds and the halyard. So now we're ready to put the jib on. The jib will connect to its own cleat up there, down to this furling spool right here. The jib has a wire in it, so it becomes the forestay, and at that point I can release the trailer strap, the halyard, and a jib will hold the mast up along with the forestays. I mean the shrouds. Now we're going to raise the mast with the jib attached. The top of the jib attaches to its swivel at this point right here. The bottom of the jib will be connected to the furling drum after we raise the mast. After the jib is connected, also the halyard is still connected. You will notice that the jib itself is quite loose because we're holding up the mast with the halyard. After we raised the mast, we were able to connect the bottom of the jib to the furling spool with this pin right here because it's nice and loose and it would fit into the slots. Now it's time to release the winch strap tension and let the jib become the forestay. I unwound the trailer winch. The strap is now loose. The jib is the only thing holding this up in front. And of course the shrouds on the side are keeping it from going sideways. Now the jib is the forestay, and it's rather tight, which it needs to be for correct furling. Okay, here's a little break in the action. Our pond, which is loaded with tilapia. It does have alligators once in a while. This is the story of the rotating boom. The purpose of the rotating boom is so that the boom can be rolled by hand and the mainsail will wrap around it as you see here. This sail is now ready to be raised, but to describe how the boom rotates, I have to show you the modifications that had to be done. The red line is the main sheet. The main sheet normally that hook. I'm going to use a pointer. This hook here normally goes under the boom to an iPad that's down about here. But that won't allow the boom to rotate. So you have to unhook it before the sail gets wrapped on it and put it over here. I had to make this bracket that's got a pivot point in the center. I had to make this metal that goes through here. That's 1 inch wide aluminum stock. You see the bolt that goes through here, and on this side, if the sun don't get in the way, you see how it's attached, and 2 pop rivets holding the bracket that's inside the boom. The main sheet connects to the bottom of that, and the topping lift, I'll get out of the sun, the topping lift connects to the top, which holds the boom level for rotation. This all allows the boom to rotate at the back end. At the front end, you have the gooseneck right here. And if the gooseneck was allowed to slide down and hit this horn cleat, then this sail would bind as it tries to roll on the boom. It would bind at this point. So I had to insert a screw here with a nut behind it. That's a Phillips head countersunk screw with a nut behind it. That keeps the gooseneck from sliding down all the way down onto the horn lock, the horn. And so the boom is then held up by that nut and bolt, not allowing the gooseneck to slide down. The gooseneck, fortunately, came with a rotating pivot point right there. So this boom can easily rotate at the front and at the back. At this point, the halyard is connected to the head of the sail. This is the halyard line coming to here. When you pull that, the sail will raise to the top of the mast. This white line here is the topping lift that is holding up the back of the boom. That's it. Turn it off.
Uno, dos, 1, 2, 3, 4. ¡Eh! ¡Pule, pule! Watch it now, watch it. Here it come, here it come. Watch it now, he get you. About a thing she saw, I do big horn and a woolly dog, woolly, 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 yeah, dry, woolly, 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 woolly. Had I told Maddie, let don't take no chance. Let's not be L7. Come and learn to dance. Bully, bully. Bully, bully. Bully, bully. Bully, bully. Bully, bully. Watch it now, watch it, watch it, watch it. Hey! Hey! Drive, drive, drive. That's the thing to do. Get you someone really